Hello my friends and welcome to my March TBR video. Before we get into discussing what books I will read and finding the prompts to indicate what books I will read, let me go ahead and tell you how I did with February's TBR. So with February I had my normal TBR, which books I considered more like mandatory. These are the ones I want to get to. There was also a there were a couple of book clubs I wanted to participate in. Those were not mandatory. If I didn't get to the books, that's fine. It's not going to hinder whether I get a reward or not for finishing my TBR. And then there was 2 readathons. One was the Polarathon, and then there was a Woody's Roundup readathon that I wanted to kind of low-key participate in if I could. February was a little difficult of a month. I had some days where I was mentally down. I had some days where I struggled to read because I was majorly overstimulated, and some days where my anxiety was really bad that I just could not focus on reading. So in essence, I did not complete my TBR. So these were the physical books for my February TBR. Out of all of these, I read Such a Fun Age. I am reading The Duke and Miss Denny by Joy Reid. I will have this done by today, and today is the last day of February. So that will be done tonight. I have read American Street by E.B. Zaboy. I completed The Two Towers by J.R.R. Tolkien. I read Geo by Junjun Ito. I read Dork Diaries by Rachel Renee Russell. I did not read Oliver Twist by Charles Dickens. I did not read Coma by Robin Cook. I did read A Splendid Ruin by Megan Chance. I also read The House with Chicken Legs by Sophie Anderson. I also read The Finnish Way by Katja Panzar. I did not read Nutrition for Dummies. Okay, so with that done and out of the way, let's go ahead and start finding and figuring out the books that I will be reading in March. So the first step is to figure the nonfiction read I want to read. So for this one, I flip a coin on my phone. I have a random generator for that. So what I'm going to say, so I have 2 books here. One is to try and get to Nutrition for Dummies. So if I get heads, and the only reason I'm saying heads is because there's a little head up here. So if I get heads, this will be the read. If I get tails, I want to read The True Power of Water, Healing and Discovering Ourselves by Masaru Emoto. So this is just all about water, how beneficial water is, I think, to like our bodies and the world. And there's also images in here of like water crystals. And I mean, they are beautiful. I'm trying to find... Okay, so like here's one. I mean, you would think if this was out of context, I would look at that and think that that's a snowflake. Here's another one. So this will be if I get tails. Okay, so I have the coin flip generator up. Right now it is sitting on tails. So let's randomly flip the coin. And it is heads, which means Nutrition for Dummies is back on my TBR for me to try and read this. Next up is to select 2 audiobooks that I will listen to. That's the one thing I did forget to mention for February. I selected 2 audiobooks. What were they? Second Skin and Finding Tess. And I did not get to those. just because I had trouble focusing on things. So they're back in my audiobook TBR jar, so to speak. So let's go ahead and pick. I will still be picking 2 audiobooks, so let's go ahead and do that. Okay, here's one. Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo. So this is a young adult book. It is contemporary. It is poetry. It has some LGBT rep in it. So those are the main genres that I'm seeing on Goodreads. So we have Camino, who lives with her dad in the Dominican Republic when he visits in the summer. And then there's also, what's her name? Yaharia Rios. She lives in New York with her dad. Now, it turns out that these 2 young ladies have the same dad, and they do not know about each other. So he is on a plane going to a destination. The plane crashes. He dies. The girls find out about the death, and through a turn of events, they find out about each other. So they're coming to terms with their world kind of becomes an upheaval with all of this. So learning about family, learning about who their dad really was, and things like that. Okay, number 2 selection. Okay, this is the one. And it is King of Sting, The Story of Australia's Greatest Conman. And this is by Justin Armsden. This one is an Audible original, just so you are aware of that. So I'm not sure. Looks like it has Justin's name in there twice, listed as the narrator. This is nonfiction. It's true crime and considered a biography. And obviously, as it's Australia's greatest con man, it takes place in Australia. Let's see. And that greatest con man is Peter Foster. So we're going to be listening about his life as the con man in Australia. Pretty straightforward. Okay, now let's find out how many books I will be having on my main TBR for the month of March. So I'm going to pull up the random number generator, and I'm going to put the minimum number to 4 and the maximum number to 15. So right now it is on number 2 for the random number, but let's go ahead and generate what the number will be. 13 books on my main TBR. Okay, so let's figure out what the first prompt will be so that I can find my first book. So I'm going to change the minimum number to 1 and the maximum number to 10 on the random number generator. And then I will count through, let me show you here. So I have the random number generator. I also have random letter, random word, random color, random picture, and random letter again. So one of the random letters signifies the first letter of the book to read. The other one, the first letter of the author's name to read. Could be first name, could be last name, or middle name. But it has to be the first word and the author's name somewhere. So let's go ahead and go back. And then I will just count through those random generators to find which one will pick my first book on the TBR. So let's go ahead and generate. Number 5. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Random picture generator. So right now it is, I didn't touch it. It's refreshing itself. Okay, so it looks like right now it's on potholes, but I'm going to generate it and we'll find out what the picture will be. It looks like it is a plant through a hole, like a knot hole in a thing. So I'm going with something with plants. So the book I will read has to have something with plants, either in the title, on the cover, or in the subject of the book. Okay, so for this one, I am going to go with Amal Unbound by Aisha Saeed. So this one I'm picking because of the plant on the cover. So you have the vine that combines and binds the two hands, and then there's also a flower. So yes, so and then there's also a henna tattoo that has a flower as well. So Amal wants to become a teacher, and her dream is dashed. So she is forced to work for a major family in Pakistan, and there's some contention because the matriarch of the family favors Amal. So Amal becomes more aware each day that passes of the deadly lengths that the family that she works for, which is the Khan family, that they will take to protect their interests. Amal realizes that she needs to be able to work with the other, I guess, slaves? Is that the... It just says work with the others who are basically kind of in her position where they serve the family. So she wants to break the system, but to do so, she has to figure out how to work with the other people that are employed for the family. So real quick before I pick the next prompt, I forgot to mention that I usually also pull from a goblet one of the countries that my family ancestry is from. However, with it being March and St. Patrick's Day, so a lot of kind of Irish being the focus, I am going to not draw a name from that, and because I do have family history from Ireland. So I'm going to go ahead and say that I'm going to pick a book from an author who is from Ireland to read. For that, I am going to read Dracula by Bram Stoker. So this is the classic of Dracula. I don't really know much about it. There's no synopsis on the back. But all I know is Dracula, as we know him today, is a vampire. So this is, I guess, maybe what started the vampire thing, although I've heard to the contrary for that. But either way, this will be the one because Bram Stoker is from Ireland. Okay, let's find out what the second prompt will be. So I am currently on random pictures, and then I'm going to go back up and we're going to generate a new number. Number 10. So starting after the random pictures, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Random word generator. So looks like, okay, so right now it's on blast, and now let's generate the random word. Riot. So I need a book that has a riot, maybe a protest, would even work, or some kind of big mass gathering where they're rioting or protesting against a cause. So for this prompt, I kind of had to do a little Google searching because I'm not sure what books I have right off the top of my head that contain riots or anything like that. So with a Google search, I searched for fiction books that have riot in it, and this came up. Otherworld by Jason Segel and Kirsten Miller. I know that this is the first in this series. All I know is I think these people live in kind of an oppressive life. It says, in this new reality, there are no laws to break or rules to obey. You can live your best life, indulge every desire. It's a game so addictive, you'll never want it to end until you realize that you're the one being played. So I think we're probably going to have a group of people, because it did come up saying that this does have a riot in it. I think these are going to be a group of people that are realizing what's possibly really happening. They're going to band together and riot and protest maybe, but definitely riot against the system. So because this came up in the Google search, this is what I'm going to go with. Okay, let's pick the third prompt. So let's see. Okay. All right, so we were on number 10 and now number 6. And we were on the word riot. Okay, so we were on random word. Okay, so right here is where we were. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Random word generator again. Okay, let's generate that. Unlawful is the new word. So for this one, I'm taking it as maybe like a mystery. Something unlawful could be happening, and so there's an investigation to figure out what's going on. This was on my TBR for last month, but I really want to get to it, so I'm putting it on this month. And that is Coma by Robin Cook. So this one, they are in a hospital in Boston. There are 5 patients that go in for a routine surgery or operation. However, something happens where all 5 of them end up in a coma. So you have a 3rd-year medical student who's sees this happening and is trying to figure out what's going on. It could be something medical, like a strange bug, but that is probably unlikely. So it could be that someone is doing something unlawful to cause the patients to go into a coma. Okay, so let's go ahead and figure out what the 4th prompt will be. So right now we are unlawful, but we need the number. Okay, number 1. So one step from random word generator is the random color generator. So right now it generated itself because the screen refreshes to this kind of orangey color. So let's generate a new color. Kind of a plum purple. Okay, so I apologize if there's a little bit of an angle difference and a little bit of a light difference. I'm filming this in the early evening, and dinner happened to become ready, so I went and had my dinner. So we were on prompt number 4, which came up with the color kind of like a plummy purple. So for that one, I am going to go with Witch Hunt by Cate Conte. So as you can see, there's a kind of a plummy purple, but there's also different shades of purple on the book. So this one we are following Violet Mooney. She owns and operates a crystal shop. People think of it as like a voodoo shop. She has a confrontation with a councilwoman. Said councilwoman ends up dead, and she becomes suspect number 1. So of course she's going to try to clear her name. Okay, moving on to prompt number 5. Let's figure out the number. Number 7. Okay, so we were on random color, which is right there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Random picture. Okay. All right, so it is a butterfly. That's kind of cool where it's clear on part of the wings. I don't know if that's a natural or if that is photoshopped, but I'm saying it's a butterfly sitting on a leaf. So something with a butterfly. So for this image, I will be going with The Diabolic by S.J. Kincaid. So you can see there's a butterfly on the cover. So there's a character in here named Sidonia, who is summoned to be a hostage. Another character is mentioned by the name of Nemesis, and in order to protect Sidonia, she must become Sidonia. That's really all I know. It says a diabolic is ruthless, a diabolic is powerful, a diabolic has a single task: kill in order to protect the person you've been created for. So I guess Nemesis is the creation, and she's supposed to protect Sidonia, is what I'm gathering from that. Okay, moving on to find the number for prompt number 6 is what we are on. Number 3. So we were on picture. So 1, 2, 3, random letter generator. And this is the first random letter generator between the 2. This one, right now it's sitting on letter K, so I will generate a letter. And this one, I am going to say that the book has to start with that letter. The letter Y. Now, if there's a word that starts with, or a book that starts with a something or the, and I may ignore those ones if the second word has a Y in it. Second official word has a Y in it. Okay, so for this prompt for the letter Y, I found one and I have not found any others that start with Y. However, this one does have, the first word is the, so I am going to ignore that. And this book is The Year of the Witching by Alexis Henderson. So the gal, I believe the one on the cover, it does say in the flap that her existence is blasphemy. The prophet's word is law. And let's see, looks like there's a mishap. She goes into a forbidden dark wood where 4 witches were killed. And it says their spirits are still lurking there, and they bestow a gift upon Emmanuel, the journal of her dead mother, who Emmanuel is shocked to learn once sought sanctuary in the wood. So there is The Year of the Witching. All right, I'm sure things have changed again because I dropped my phone and it went and slid under my bed. So I had to move the camera to get it. Okay, moving on to prompt number 7. Let's figure out the next number. Number 7. All right. So we were on the first random letter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Random word generator. So we were on unlawful. And now the word is useful. So this one could be taken a couple of ways as well. So let me see what I have got. So for this one, I am going to go with the Radium Girls by Cate Moore. And the reason why I'm saying this one will fit the word useful is because these girls were hired to paint radium on items that could be helpful during the war. So, and then of course, now this is a nonfiction. They get, where radium is a poison, they obviously become poisoned, and some of their bodies become useful with figuring out that radium is poison. So this will fit useful in a couple of different ways depending on however you see it. This is a reread for me. The first time I listened on audiobook, did not care for the audiobook. I did not like how the narrator read the book, so I'm going to read it physically. Moving on to prompt number 8. Let's go and find the next number. Number 2. So we were on random word. So 1, 2. We are back on random pictures. And the new picture is a boy doing a flip on a trampoline. Okay, so I need to kind of figure out how I have a book that may fit this. Acrobatics, flipping a trampoline, maybe just because it has a boy as the main character. I'll figure it out. So this one, I do not have a book that I can find that has a trampoline, acrobatics, flipping on a trampoline, backflips. So I'm going with the image of the boy. I am guessing it's a boy that's on the trampoline. Could be wrong on that. Who knows? But it's definitely a child. Now, the reason why I'm going with the boy is I wanted to make it a little bit more challenging. Most of the books that I have, the main character is female. So I wanted to find a book where the main character is a boy, and that's the closest I'm going to get to fitting a book to this particular image. So for this book, I am going to go with The Giver by Lois Lowery. This will be a reread for me. I really enjoy this book. So we're following Jonas. It's been so long I can't remember his name. But Jonas lives in a world where everything is black and white. There's this person called The Giver who sees things in color, remembers things from the past. So basically, Jonas's life is edited. People are assigned to age 12, I think. Yes, at age 12, they are signed into the career that they will be for their life. And then at some point, they are assigned to a spouse. They're assigned a child, because there are women, it does mention that their job is basically giving birth to children. So their family unit is basically assigned. But they can't remember the past, and again, they see in black and white. And so Jonas is selected to become the next giver in this society, because the giver is reaching an age where I guess he could retire or die at any time, so someone obviously needs to replace this position. Okay, moving on to prompt number 9. Let's get the next number. Number 4. So we were on pictures. So 1, 2, 3, 4, random word generator. And the new word is brown. This will be fairly easy. I can go with the word in the title, or just that the cover has brown on it. So I can go with brown in the title, brown in the author's name, or brown on the cover. So this is a little bit more free to choose what I have. So for this prompt, I decided to go with The Bodies in the Library by Marty Wingate. The bookcase on here is brown, and it has a brown cat. So I'm using it. So this one we are following Haley Burke. I'm guessing this will be in first person, just because of the description. Now I could be wrong on that, because sometimes the descriptions on the back of the book are way wrong on things, or they lead you down one path when it's really another path. So this one, Haley Burke is the new curator of this library, where it houses special editions of women authors of the golden age of mystery. So like Agatha Christie and Dorothy L. Sayers. Now, the former assistant to the former curator does not like the new curator, and I guess may try to sabotage things. One of the groups, so there's these groups that meet in a particular area that write fan fiction. One writes fan fiction for Agatha Christie. But one of these fan fiction groups ends up dead. And of course, Haley needs to figure out what's going on, because of course she's going to possibly be a suspect. But it does say she has to take cues from basically the author's mystery novels to try and solve the crime. Okay, let's find the number for prompt number 10. And the new number is 10. So we were on random color because it was brown. Well, not color, but random word, which was brown, which I use as a color. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So random number generator. So for this, I am going to change the maximum number to 30. And I'm going to generate a number, and I'm just going to count how many books. I don't want to count a super lot. So I'm going to start with a bookcase that's right to the side of me here, and start on the top shelf, and then I will just count through 30 books. If the 30th book is the middle of a series, then I will just use the first of that series if I haven't read it, or wherever I am on that series. Number 29 is the number I will be counting to. Okay, so the 29th book on my shelf was the third book in the DC Marvel series. Now, they follow Wonder Woman, Catwoman, Superman, Batman, and then there's another one I can't remember who the main character is. You can probably read these, I am guessing, and as I have heard, kind of in any order, but it is written as a series, so I am going with the first one. So the third one was Catwoman, but I am going with the first one, which is Wonder Woman Warbringer. This particular one is written by Leigh Bardugo. The other ones in the series are written by different authors. So this one's basically following Wonder Woman's life, and that's really all I know. I don't know much about Wonder Woman. Just that she's been around for a while, and definitely before my time is when she made her first appearance. But, so we're going to be following the life and path of Wonder Woman. Okay, I'm going to change the max number back to 10, and we'll generate a new number to find the new prompt. Number 9. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Random color generator. So it's on a plummy purple. And now it's on kind of a burnt blood red. So again, this can be, the red is in the title, the name, or a color on the cover. Okay, my selection for the color of red that came up is going to be A Simple Favor by Darcey Bell. There is some of that red on the cover and definitely on the spine and some on the back. So we have two characters, Emily and Stephanie. They are both mothers. Emily is more glamorous and Stephanie is more simple, or Emily's richer, Stephanie is poorer, type of the vibe that I get. So there's questions about Emily's husband not being honest. Stephanie is too enamored in Emily's life to the point that it sounds like stalking. So that's really all I can gather for it. Emily asks Stephanie to pick up her son from, I think, kindergarten, and then things start to go wrong. Okay, let's pull up the next number for prompt number 12. Number 2. So we're on colors. So 1, 2, random letter generator. And it's going to generate, because it's refreshing, looks like it's staying on the, nope, it switched to letter A. Okay, let's generate. And the letter T. For this particular one, because this is... So since this is the second random letter generator, I am using this one as the letter in the author's name. So the letter T needs to be the first letter of the author's first name, or the last name, or even the middle name if it's on there, but it has to be the first letter of some part of the author's name. So for this prompt, where the author's name, the random letter was T, and again, I'm using this one for a part of the author's name, I am going with Hannibal Rising by Thomas Harris. This is the first in a series. Many of you will know if I just mention Hannibal Lecter, what this book might be about. I am just going to read the back because I don't know much about the series other than it is about Hannibal Lecter. So it says, Hannibal Lecter emerges from the night time of the Eastern Front, a boy in the snow, mute, with a chain around his neck. He seems utterly alone, but he has brought his demons with him. Hannibal's uncle, a noted painter, finds him a Soviet orphanage and brings him to France, where Hannibal will live with his uncle and his uncle's beautiful and exotic wife, Lady Muraski. Could have said that wrong. Anyway, this wife helps Hannibal to heal. With her help, he flourishes, becoming the youngest person ever admitted to medical school in France. But Hannibal's demons visit him and torment him. When he is old enough, he visits them in turn. He discovers he has gifts beyond the academic, and in that epiphany, Hannibal Lecter becomes death's prodigy. So, there you go. That sounds really good to me. I'm excited to try and get to that. Okay, going on to find the number for prompt number 13, which is the last one. And the last prompt number is 7. We were on the last random letter. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, back to random number. I'm changing the max number to, I know where it's going to end if I do 30, so I'm going to up the number to you know what? Let's go all out and do 100, and then I'll pick that book. 41. Okay, so the number is number 41. I'll be right back. I'm going to count to number 41 on my bookcase. So the 41st book on my bookshelf was the third book in a trilogy, and that trilogy was written by Robin Hobb. This will be my first experience with Robin Hobb, so I do hope I like it. I know this book is definitely well loved with several of the booktubers that I watch on, obviously on BookTube. So the first one in that series is Assassin's Apprentice. So with this one, you have a it's a kingdom. I was going to say civilization, but kingdom is the word that is used. This kingdom is on the verge of collapse. They find out that the king has fathered a bastard son. The son's name is Fitz. The king is, it says he is being shamed into abdication, and the son Fitz is despised. So Fitz is being trained by a member of he's being trained to be an assassin. And the person that's training him is training him to use the traditional magic of the Farseer family. However, this tutor is allied with another political faction to the point that the trainer decides or is going to try to discredit or even kill Fitz. So Fitz must learn to survive on his own. And it says that he may actually be destined to save the kingdom that he is from. All right, so those are all of the books that I will be trying to read for the month of March. Now, I am doing a buddy read, so I will go ahead and mention that. So I'm doing a buddy read with Lexi from Alexandria Rosalind, and we are going to be reading Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. So this one is basically, this gal is paid to be a companion to an older lady. They go to this resort. The older lady gets sick, so this paid companion has free time. She meets Max de Winter. They have a whirlwind romance and get married, and she moves into his gothic mansion. The previous Mrs. de Winter, who has since passed away, seems to still be lurking and haunting the halls, and so the new Mrs. de Winter basically feels like she has a lot to live up to. The maidservant, what is her name? I can't remember the maid's name, but basically the maid, which I'll find out when I read it, loved the previous Mrs. de Winter, held her in such high regard that she kind of looks down her nose at the new Mrs. de Winter. So those are the books that I want to prioritize. So as I've said, those are the books I want to prioritize for the month of March. I have no hope. Well, not necessarily hope. I would hope to be able to get through all of these, but realistically, I highly doubt it, because on top of that stack, I also have 2 audiobooks, which that should be fine. But there's also a couple of other book clubs that I want to participate in, so there are additional books. And then there's also the March Mystery Madness going on, which I would like to participate in as well, so there are additional books for that. Both of which, with the Mystery Madness readathon and these book clubs, will be very low-key. I hope to get to them, but I doubt I will, especially with the priority books on my TBR. Again, I don't expect to get to all of them, but if I can listen to a lot of these on audiobook, that will definitely help. So we'll definitely try to utilize Audible and Scribd to try and listen to a lot of these while I read along. I do read at a faster speed when I listen to an audiobook along with reading physically than I do just reading physically. So I may get through a good portion of these. So I don't know what book I'm going to start with for the month of March, but I am excited. I think these are all great books. I'm excited for all of these. So please wish me luck. Let me know what you're planning on reading and prioritizing for the month of March. If there's any book clubs or buddy reads or even readathons that you're participating in, let me know what they are so I can keep an eye out for the next time that they may do some stuff. and maybe try to participate in the future as well. Until next time, stay true to yourself and enjoy a good book, and I will talk to you later.